Shalom and welcome to 2 Minutes of Torah. This year is entitled Daf Yomi, Megilla 28a, Ovair Al Midotav, forgiving one who transgressed against you. The Gemara writes that anyone who has such a midah, who forgives one who transgressed against him, Hashem will forgive him for his misdeeds and misconduct. This sounds like a simple, nice idea that someone who's mean to you or violated you in one way or another, you forgive him, and that's it. Truthfully, the sugya of Megilla is a sugya like any other sugya. The simple Halacha is brought down in the Ramah and in the Shulchan Aruch, is that one who asks you for Megilla, and he does it b'lev shalom, then you're chayav, you have to forgive him. There are several exceptions to the rule. The Ramah does mention that what if you have a toilet, you have a specific purpose, why you don't want to forgive him just yet. And Mishna Berura explains that, let's say, you think he still needs more work, and he still needs more introspection, and you really mean l'shem shamayim to help him out, then you wouldn't have to forgive him just yet. Another example would be is if he's motzi shemra, he went ahead and caused a bad name for the other individual, and now even if he asks for Megilla, the fact is the bad name is out there, so he cannot go ahead and undo the harm. So technically, one would be patur in such a case. And obviously, in the third case, if a person didn't come and ask for Megilla, then one would not be chayiv to do Megilla just yet. The Aruch Hashulchan writes that before a person rejects the request for Megilla because he's trying to help out the other individual, he should think through it very, very clearly. It's not so shchiach, not so common to assume that you really are not going to be mochel him purely for his own good and has nothing to do with your personal anger. So Aruch Hashulchan says that has to be taken very seriously. He says, "Kemat in matzoy." It's not really common they'd have such a case. The person asks for Megilla, and you decide for his benefit that you will not give him Megilla. The Mishna Berura has a very important chiddush here. He writes that someone who goes out and asks for Megilla, the one who is insulted and hurt, should be mochel him, and if he has specific reason not to be mochel, then in such a case he would be technically allowed not to be mochel him at that point, but the Mishna Berura says, nevertheless, the sin'ah he must remove from his heart. Meaning there's two halachot here. There's the technical mechila that you have to give the person who asks for mechila, and then there's the ill will, the anger, and even the hatred that's in your heart from being insulted from him. So even if technically the mechila you want to hold off with, and hopefully for legitimate reasons, Mishna Berura says there's the other sugya of sin'ah. And now you have to work on removing from your heart, especially after he asked for Megilla. So Mishna Berura has a chiddush that there's two sugyot over here. There's the sin'ah, and there is the technical Megilla. And the sin'ah you should really remove right away, and especially once he asked for Megilla, even if you're not being mochel him yet. The Mateh Ephraim has an unbelievable chiddush. Let's say the person who insulted and wronged you is not coming to ask for Megilla. So the natural reaction, well, he's not going to come to me, I'm certainly not going to mochel him. The Mateh Ephraim says that in such a case, you should go ahead and try to be near the person and happen to be around him. So that way they'll give him the opportunity to ask for Megilla. So that way he can ask for Megilla, and you can be mochel him, you can remove the sin'ah from your heart. And the Mateh Ephraim also says that someone who doesn't remove sin'ah from his heart, chas v'shalom, his tefillot on Yom Kippurim may not be heard. So this is a very, very important sugya. It's a sugya, halachic sugya like any other, but it's of course more emotional and sensitive than others. And in Mitzvah Hashem, we should be able to be Ovair Al Midotav. A person should be able to mavin his midos. And Mitzvah Hashem, Hashem should be Ovair Al Midotav of the person as well. Shalom.